Hi, I'm Beck Williams. I wrote, directed, and acted in the short film Pace.
So the first thing I want to ask you, and I'm trying not to anticipate the answer, but I'm assuming that you had a fair amount of experience with boxing before this project.
I did, and thank you for saying that. I take that as a big compliment. That means that it kind of came across well on screen.
Both as you doing the workouts and as you as the mentor for Joey.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I do box. I've done martial arts. I've been lucky to get to train for most of my life in martial arts, and boxing in the last several years has been like my primary focus. And I love it. It's a blast. And I do train. I coach as well. So I do have both sides of it, and I have a coach. So I'm kind of on both sides of it. And it's just like just so great to get into your body, and just to kind of like, for me, it really helped with my journey and everything, to, transitioning and just kind of going through certain challenges in my life, to just kind of like drop into my body and be able to like get out of my head. Like we say in the film, get out of your head, get into your body.
I loved the twist, and I'm very glad that the audience has already seen the film for this, because the first time we see Joey, that you're going to be the mentor, you're going to help this person deal with whatever it is that has them so distraught the first time they come into Forge. And then that gets twisted on its head, kind of slapped me out of my complacency. Tell me about how you decided that pivot point.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great question, Claire. Thank you. And I'm really glad that resonated, because I really wanted this to be, it was important for it to be like a true friendship, and for them to really help each other, and for them to be on kind of like equal ground, I guess, if that makes sense. And I didn't want one person to just be helping the other. I really wanted it to be a mutual exchange, I guess, and in this friendship and this bond that they had. And so when Joey comes in, and it's kind of nice because they almost flip, you know what I mean? And it's things that Remy's saying to Joey are things that Remy needs to actually be hearing themselves. So, and so it's like, as Joey's confidence kind of builds, and he embraces coming back to the gym and embraces being in this environment that he used to be in, but now with a little more confidence, he now has the space to like be there for Remy in the same way that Remy started being there for him. And it gives Joey kind of steps into his power as well. Yeah, it felt special, because sometimes when you have like with a trainer and like a coach, I guess, client or whatever relationship, there's one person, that's really, like you said, mentoring the other. And so it was really important for me to have them both be able to help each other.
The pivot point happens, or rather I should say, we, the audience, don't know that until we see the letter about Remy's gender affirming care, and until we hear Joey talk about, I'm not where I used to be, I'm not where I want to be in terms of my boxing skills, and it's because of top surgery. And then we see, oh, okay, yeah, the question becomes, what are you willing to sacrifice for authenticity? The number of stories out there about how devastating it is to be closeted and not to be able to pursue your truth. There are plenty of stories out there, but this was a little more realistic. There is a cost. And we see that with both Joey and Remy. So I was hoping you could talk a little bit about that, both within the film and for yourself, how you came to understand that.
Yes, I absolutely love what you just said about like, what is the cost of authenticity? That's really the theme of the whole thing. It's definitely something that I've also had to go through in my life, and in stepping into my own authenticity and in my own transition. For me, the similarities with, Remy definitely has their own path. It's not like completely autobiographical, but it's based off the fact that I have, I personally did transition in a marriage, and it was a challenge, and I think that's the hardest part, is that it's like, how do you choose between yourself, but something else that really matters to you when they feel like they're at conflict? Yeah. You know what I mean? And that can definitely be a part of the trans experience, but it can also be part of any relationship. It could be something like, I don't know, perhaps a couple decides one person wants kids and the other one is like, I actually don't want that. Like there could be so many different ways that like we have this huge value, and it kind of like contrasts with something else that really means something. And I think that's kind of the hard part, because it means there's no right or wrong, really. It's no one's wrong in the situation. It's not like there's a clear cut, like, well, obviously you should make this choice. Like, it's kind of like, well, no, like two things, you can hold two things at once. Both things can matter to you. And yeah, that's the real internal struggle. And so being able to kind of explore that in this story in obvious ways with Remy, but you brought up Joey as well, because with Joey, it's about like the fear of losing community and not feeling like you belong somewhere because you've changed so much. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely a nuanced struggle that I don't know if we talk about it all that much. You know, I want to, that's why I like to talk about it, you know, to dig in that.
Well, it would have been easier, but it would have been lazy writing to have Remy's partner be unsympathetic. When I watch that confrontation scene, my heart goes out to that person, even though I've been on the other side of that discussion where the other person is feeling betrayed, or, you know, that maybe they were lied to. And your portrayal of that character, forgive me, I'm forgetting her name, but Vanessa, it came across as very sympathetic, as nope, I get it. This is a real human with real concerns.
Yeah, I'm really glad, because I didn't want anyone to be a villain in this, and I think it's like how can we show the challenge for of course someone that's trying to make this big life decision, but also, I mean, we have to be realistic, and it can affect other people. That doesn't mean don't do it or it's not important, but it's just kind of like the partner, Vanessa, like being the placeholder for a partner in this kind of situation is like, you know, definitely not saying don't do this, but also being like, I also am trying to figure this out too, and I don't know. Like neither person knows what the answer is, you know. And I think when I was kind of going through this in my own life, I felt very isolating, and I feel like any story I heard was, oh, they broke up immediately, or oh, everything was fine and no one even questioned it. Now it was kind of like two extremes, and I'm like, but what happens when you're in the middle and you don't know yet? You know, like you don't know which way it's gonna go. You do love each other, but like, is it enough sometimes? You know, things like that. But you know, I really wanted to show that like Vanessa is definitely not a villain. Vanessa is caring, you know, and it's a change for both people. And yeah, it makes it harder because if Vanessa was just terrible, like, okay, Remy can everyone's like, we'll just leave. Like what's holding you there?
Dump that one already.
Exactly.
Move on. Especially in these, a number of very emotional scenes, for such a short film, how difficult or easy was it for you to direct yourself? Because you were asking a lot emotionally of all three of your main actors there.
Very true, yeah, and I'm very proud of my other actors in this, and I'm proud of just how everything came together. But I think it was interesting because directing it, a lot of it came with prep ahead of time. So much of it was prep with my DP to really know kind of all the technical things, have everything really set. And Leo and I have like this really good kind of like hive mind thing going where it was just so easy we're on the same page. It's like the communication and how we worked was so wonderful. So being able to kind of have everything so figured out. So on the day, it's not like, well, let me try to figure out it's like, no, we're ready as much as we can be. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I did have some producers keeping an eye on things as well, and folks that could let me know, who kind of know me as an actor, could let me know like, oh, you might want to do that again, or that was the plan. And then I actually did have my acting coach. She's so wonderful. I asked her to come in for that last argument scene.
Yeah.
And it kind of just gave me permission to, we rehearsed with her so she understood kind of like my direction and everything. But then she could be there she knows me as an actor. So it was just helpful for her to just be there to help as a coach, help me to stay on the track of the direction that I wanted. And both of us really in that scene. And it really gave me permission to not have to judge myself. And, because as an actor, you don't want to be thinking about that. You do really have to take off the directing hat while you're in it.
Right.
And live it. And then I'd say the benefit is, as an actor, you usually don't get to watch a lot of playback or really judge yourself anyway. It's kind of up to how it just turns. You just have to be honest. So luckily, with enough training, I felt comfortable doing that, and I was like, I'm gonna be as honest as I can, and what's gonna come out is what's gonna come out. So yeah, I mean, it was a challenge, but I'm just grateful for keeping up with my craft, for my coach, for like being in such an incredible class for years with such incredible actors to let me get ready for that, to be able to step into that while I'm directing. So yeah.
That's something that's come up in a couple of these Q&As, is an ability to communicate, first of all, and the necessity for creating an atmosphere of trust on set. Last question, where did you land on the name Remy?
Oh,
it's a great name.
I love it. Yeah.
And it seemed to fit the character. I don't know why, but it really was like, yep, that's a Remy.
I'm so glad. Yeah. When I was first writing, I might have had another name in there, but I was kind of thinking of, like gender neutral names, especially because Remy is out and already, the idea is like Remy is out as, non-binary, as trans, but hasn't like made certain physical transitions or changes yet. So, something that was like there, something gender neutral, I think was going to be important there. And I just think I love that name. I think like if my name wasn't Beck, I would love the name Remy. So maybe that's what it was. I just think it's a great name. It feels endearing, but it feels strong to me. So yeah, I think I just love it.
There's something suave about a Remy. There's something that, Remy's going to win you over.
Yes. Agreed.
Well, Beck, thank you so much for this. It's been a delight talking to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Claire. Really, really appreciate it. This has been great.